Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Britton's Hangout Hour, episode 179. I'm here today with SS Fitzgerald. Is there another name I can call you by?
Yeah, I go by the Almighty One, the Great One. You can just call me Shaun, though.
All right, Shaun. How you doing this fine evening slash day where you're at? I think you're in Eastern time, so it's evening.
I sure am in Eastern Time. I'm in the great free state of Florida, and thank you so much for having me, man. I've been following your page for a while.
Oh, well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's funny. I go down to Florida from time to time. I'm actually wearing a shirt from a bar that I like to go down to when I'm out in Florida. So
Oh, I didn't catch the logo. What's that
Fun
bar?
little coincidence. It's called Nick's. It's down in Fort Lauderdale,
Okay,
Hollywood Beach.
quite a ways away from where I am. I am in the northern panhandle, so it's about 12 hours from me.
Oh man, Florida's a big state. Then from the
Yeah, deceptively large state. I think the United States in general is overly large compared to what most people think it is.
yeah, I live in Oklahoma, so it just kind of looks like a frying pan. We have a place called the Panhandle, so fun times.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you write some books. You do some stuff. I see. Or at least that's the gist I get from what I've seen in your
Yeah,
stuff.
I put words onto pieces of paper, and then people give me money for those pieces of paper. It's pretty amazing. In all seriousness, now I am the author of quite a few books. My most popular and current selling is a series called the Alone Together series right now. Book three comes out in June this year, so I'm pretty excited about
Oh
it.
wow, that's not too long away from. Well, I'm recording this on May the 23rd. This will probably be out in a while, so it'll probably be out by the time your this goes up.
No worries. Well, hey, go out there. If you haven't already joined the survivors, pick up book one. If you do get this out before the 15th, I'll let you know now that book one and two will be discounted in celebration for book three's release.
Very nice, very nice. So I haven't really I did watch a few of your interviews because I read an interview book a long time ago that says you should probably pick up information about people you're about to talk to, and I'm like, yeah, that's usually a good idea. I don't always do it because I'll admit I can be rather lazy, but I try to at least. Um, so the Alone Together series is kind of like so is it like a military thriller, zombie apocalypse type of thing?
Yeah, it has a lot of rainbows and kittens in it. It is a post apocalyptic survival horror story. It
Mm,
follows primarily three primary protagonists as they try and band a group of survivors together. You can call it a zombie apocalypse if you want. I think that my readers are slowly realizing that one, they're not actually zombies, and two, things are far worse than just a zombie apocalypse. I don't want to give too much away, but if you like zombies, there's going to be a lot of things in there that are going to be right up your alley. But if you're also tired of the cliches and the tropes that follow the zombie series in most media, uh, I do my due diligence to try and avoid those. So if you're looking for something fresh in that, and then if you're into any type of just like horror or monster based story, you're going to find something in Alone Together. Now, I fully understand why you would think that it's a military base. There are a
Well,
lot of
the
military
cover kind of
characters.
looked like
Yes,
like have you read any of Jonathan Mayberry's stuff?
I have not. I'm sorry.
Oh well, I've only read his fantasy book Kagan the Damned, but he's done a couple of books about this guy. I wish my friend John was here because he's followed. His name's Joe something, but anyway, he's like a secret agent, Tom Clancy type basically. But he goes up against like supernatural threats. Like I think the first book is him averting a zombie apocalypse. For starters.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah.
So that's why I got that idea.
Oh, yeah. It's there's definitely a
It
lot of
looked like
military themes to it.
three military dudes doing stuff, shooting people in the face. Maybe not shooting people in the face, but
Oh
shooting
yeah, we shoot
zombies in the
people in the face.
face.
There's plenty of face shootings happening, so you're not too far off. Yeah, the three primary protagonists. You have a current National Guard captain, so he's one of the main characters on the first cover. You have Roland, who is a former special operations soldier, and then you have Julie, who is a civilian EMS medic, and they all experience the apocalypse happening in a small town in Florida. It's a global pandemic, but they see it from their little point of view as the world's falling apart. So
Well, that makes
yes,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, you are pretty much right on the money there.
Joe Ledger, that's the name of the series. It's called Joe Ledger. He does like
Okay.
he's like a Jason Bourne type who like solves like, but he goes up against like weird well, maybe not always supernatural, but like I think the first book is about him like thwarting a zombie apocalypse. So, that kind of gives you the gist of what the whole series is about. But
Were you into that series?
I haven't read any of them. I
Oh.
just know from what I've heard from like friends of mine. Again, I wish my friend John was here. He would have been like, "Oh yeah, that series. That's new one just came out recently." I was like, "Oh yeah." Well, anyway.
Your synopsis kind of reminds me of the old TV show Grimm, which is follows a guy that realizes our world is populated by, I want to say, the monsters of mythology. So there's like werewolves and bee men and things of that nature, but they all look like humans until they decide to reveal themselves. And similar concept. He thwarts their pandemic efforts and things of that nature.
Yeah, I haven't watched that show. But I've heard of other shows like that. Like damn it, what's that one Robert Carlyle was in? I think it was called Once Upon a Time or something like that. But it's basically about like characters from fairy tales existing in real life. There's also like Fables. It's a comic book though. Or The Wolf Among Us if you play video games.
There's the surprisingly number of people I've met are big video game enthusiasts or also book enthusiasts. So I've found a home between those two.
Yeah, a lot of us kind of sit around and do not too much most days unless you have families or whatnot. I know that's a real thing. But, yeah, so we got a lot of time for games or books.
Fair. I will tell my family that they get in the way of my gaming and my book reading.
No, but yeah, your books sound interesting because I do like the zombie genre, though zombies just scare the crap out of me when I was a kid. I don't know, I guess I'm just a masochist. I don't know.
There's something about just the general concept, and I think George A. Romero, who, while not the inventor of the zombie, probably hit on something that's both primal and intimate when he came up with the modern version of the zombie. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he was on to it.
Yeah,
And
those first three at least are great.
yeah, 100%.
The rest of them are kind of I kind of have a guilty pleasure appreciation for what was the last one he made? I think it was like
Survival of the Dead.
Yeah, Survival of the Dead, where it's basically a family feud, but
Yeah.
there's zombies involved.
Yeah, Hatfields and McCoys basically on an island with zombies.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and it's kind of it was kind of where he was kind of bored of the genre, and he was just like, what's something else we could do? Oh, okay, here's it's this kind of Western thing I want to do.
Yeah, apparently somebody picked up his script for his final movie, which was supposed to be Twilight of the Dead, and they're going to start making it soon. And I'm skeptical because like George A. Romero was the mastermind behind his storylines, so those are some big boots to fill.
You know what I always thought was funny? Because I rewatched Dawn of the Dead a few months ago, actually, because I was in Florida. And I was bored, and I was like, you know what? I want to watch Dawn of the Dead, because, Romero is one of those, like, weird indie dudes before, like, weird indie dudes was a thing. Yeah. And he made, like, Dawn of the Dead, and, like, Day of the Dead, I think, had a general, like, pretty good budget to it, but, like, Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead are like, they were, like, hamstring, he was basically guerrilla filming the thing.
Yeah. In fact, if I recall correctly, the cast to Day of the Dead, the zombies, they got paid with a T-shirt.
Really? I didn't know that. But apparently there's the message of like the like anti-consumerism. Apparently George Romero did not intend that. He was just kind of like, oh, and then like later he was like, oh yeah, it is kind of anti-consumerist, isn't it? Okay, I'll roll with it. Sure, yeah. Let's go with that.
He does a very good job of critiquing the military mindset, though, without being in your face, where I feel like a lot of modern media, like if they're going to critique the military, I'm like, oh, you guys have never met somebody in the military, have you?
It's like, oh no, they shot some civilians. How sad, It's like, well, yeah, we have rules about that,
Yeah. Yeah. I will definitely say that as much as I love the zombie genre, I do understand a lot of people are tired of the tropes that have come out of it, and even modern movies with the running zombies. I think a lot of people are just like they can tell what's going to happen, and my big goal was to subvert all those expectations when I wrote Alone Together.
Yeah, it wasn't really till I read the Walking Dead comic and started watching the show where I really kind of fell into the zombie story because I was like, oh, this was, you know. Anyway, I won't get too carried away into that. But funnily enough, just recently, well, recently meaning last year, I read Molly McCobb's book, Dark Bloom, because she was very kind enough to give it to me through the mail. I read it, I quite enjoyed it. Interesting take on the zombie story. It's more of a romance than a zombie story. It's well done, I thought.
Yeah, I think she calls her series "Songs of the Tangled Elegies." I might be.
Oh, is that right?
Word.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. In fact, right before my release, I'm doing a live episode with Molly because we're both Dark Veil Society authors, and we're gonna do a little bit of a back and forth between hers.
Yes. I was trying to get into contact with some of the people from there because they followed me, and I asked. I think his name's Eamon Bradley. Eamon. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. He's no longer.
He's gonna watch this and be like, this fucking guy.
It depends on if he's drinking or not, so don't worry about it.
Oh boy. Anyway, I tried contacting him and he left me on scene. So I'm like, that motherfucker. But anyway.
You know what? Hide behind the crown. No, I'm kidding. He is now in his own little group that he started out in the UK. So it's great that you have me because I'm now one of the top members over with DVS. I would say Molly is obviously the brains behind everything, and then we also have Blake Myers. So if you want to talk to a bunch of us at one time, just let me know. We can arrange that.
Yeah, I'll just be like, hey, Shaun, you want to put me in contact with David? Is that the guy? Is that the one guy's name? I don't know.
We have a David, we have a William, we have a bunch of guys out there. Yeah,
there was another guy named his name's like William or something. It's like a weird spelling of William, and I'm like, what?
Yes, William.
And I contacted him. He also left me on red, so it's just like a lot of people are leaving me on red. I'm kind of miffed, but it's okay.
It's okay. I'll spank them tonight and let them know that they have to respond to you.
He'd be like, hey, this guy, I was on his podcast. He told me to hit you up when you have some time.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I bet he's probably busy because it's usually what happens. But I was just like, bro, come on.
Well, if you send them a nude, they usually respond pretty quick. So that's
that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, just blind copy it to everybody in the Dark Veil Society, and we'll get back to you in about.
Yeah, no, I'll just be like, hey, you want to come on my podcast and just like also photo of testicles,
You'll win. Yeah, we'll all respond then. Got you.
Like, those are some really small testicles, sir. Anyway, but yeah, you write some. I don't know if I'd call it. I guess I'll call it post-apocalyptic horror. I guess. Horror.
Yeah, Alone Together absolutely is post-apocalyptic. It starts right at the beginning of the apocalypse. That's one thing that I think a lot of apocalyptic stories kind of brush over is how did it actually fall? And I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to put you on day one when things like that tipping point when things start to fall apart, you're there so that there's no question about it. Now there's like ambiguity because I give you hints that things have been building up to this. Things don't just happen in one day. COVID's a great example. I based a lot of Dylan, who's the National Guard captain, his internal thoughts off my internal thoughts from when I was a infantry commander during 2020 and COVID was going on. So when I tell you little stories, like the characters are back and forth about what it's like in the military, in particular things that revolve around the National Guard, they're probably true stories. So just to give you that.
Hopefully you don't get like a visit from like military intelligence or whatever, like MPs being like, "Hey man, stop sharing our secrets to the world. We're gonna have a problem."
It'd probably be more like, "Hey, stop telling everybody how incompetent certain things are about our organizations." That's
what's funny. My friend, his name's Gavin. He's in the Navy, he's been trying to get out for like 3 years because he's just like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like every time he comes back to Oklahoma, he's also funnily enough in Florida. He's in Pensacola.
Okay.
He just complains about how stupid everyone is in the military. He's like, I want to get out. This is ridiculous.
It's a mixed bag. I've had some great experiences. I've met some,
or even Dakota. You know Dakota Miller.
Oh, of course I do. Yeah,
he's a fun guy. He's just like, he'll just say like the most random out of pocket stuff on Twitter, and I'm just like, what are you doing? But he's great. He also complained a lot about the military when I had him on my show, so it was fun.
Yeah, I try not to complain about it too much, but there's definitely critiques there, and I use Alone Together as my format to critique the military.
Yeah, but yeah, again, I kind of got the gist. It was like 3 guys in the post-apocalypse, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
all my stories have a little bit of something like that, and I mean, my first one is absolutely just like I'm going to write a story that 12-year-old me would have absolutely loved, and that was a Fold to Extinction, which is just like, let's put a reason to have soldiers fight dinosaurs. So there you go. I have a Fold to Extinction out there. And then I decided, I should probably write something a little bit more grounded and realistic. So I wrote Sinner's Pass. No military people in Sinner's Pass. Very character-driven horror and a little bit of psychological horror, a little bit of body horror that you can find in there.
Yeah, it's I haven't read any of your books. I don't know, but I'm sure they're good. Even though it's kind of funny, like I'm not really like a body horror guy, but like my favorite horror movie, I should say, is The Thing. Makes no sense.
That's body horror, baby.
I know. That's what I'm saying. There's an irony there.
You could also classify that as cosmic horror, so I'll give you a pass.
I definitely think it's the best cosmic horror film that's ever been made. Though I'm sure there'll be like people in the comments going like, no, it's this.
I do think it's a great cosmic horror. It's not solely cosmic horror. If I wanted to piss people off in your comment section, I'd probably say that Event Horizon is probably one of the better cosmic horrors that I've ever seen.
I haven't seen that because I do have a bit of a guilty pleasure affinity for the Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil movies, but I just kind of find him I don't know. I've just never. I don't know. Event Horizon just kind of felt like, oh, let's do Alien. Yeah, Alien again. Let's rip off not. Alien. Let's do it.
I promise you. Have you ever dived into Warhammer 40K?
No. I'm kind of afraid of Warhammer 40K because I'm like, there are things I follow like Star Wars and like comics that like I know a lot about. I don't know if I have room for another, kind of massive thing.
It is a massive undertaking if you try and understand the story. The only reason I bring it up is there's a lot of people that say it's the unofficial first story of Warhammer 40K because it has a concept that sets the core element to humanity's fight in Warhammer 40K. So that's all I was going with that. If you're thinking that it's an Alien knockoff, you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's not anything like Alien.
Yeah, I have friends who really like it, and then I'm like, that's awesome. I'm just I don't know, never really felt the itch to go. Maybe I'll see it someday. I mean, never say never, but I'm just kind of I've been kind of burned out with movies lately. Like the last one I really kind of enjoyed was like Sinners. I thought Sinners was really good, even though I think vampires are really played out.
Fair. How many times have you seen Sinners?
I've seen it twice now. I saw it in theaters, and it was great.
So you should, next time you watch it, pay attention to the scene when the vampires get into the barn and they start fighting, and you're going to catch a lot of continuity problems, and I think it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to find that.
Yeah, I pointed it out to my wife the first time we were watching it, and she was like, that's not what happened, and we were watching it on Netflix, and we went back, and she's like, damn it, you're right. It's like, yeah, now that you see that, you're not going to be able to unsee that from that fight scene. So I won't say any more, though. So you guys have to go back there and rewatch it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really. Then again, I'm not really like a vampire guy in general. I don't know. I mean, they're scary, but like when you read like Twilight and you see all the like super angsty vampires, which I know it didn't start with Twilight. Like you can kind of blame Anne Rice for the angsty vampires, but you do kind of get burned out with it after a while.
Yeah, I'm very much like if I'm gonna go the vampire route, I enjoy like the 30 Days of Night vampires more than I enjoy the overly sexy, enticing vampires.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's kind of just all right. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what happened there, but
No,
we're
no
back.
worries. You got a sound check on me right there?
Yeah, no, it's catching you.
Okay, cool. I'll do this so you can figure out where to edit it and cut that out easily.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I agree with you. I like the Underworld, 30 Days of Night, Blade, those type of vampires. If we're talking just like movie media, literature, I think, man, I'm having a hard time thinking of a literature vampire that I've really enjoyed outside of Dracula.
You know, Dracula's such a weird book, I think, because it's like how do I describe it?
Well, it's an
Um,
epistolary. That's the first
well,
problem. I
yeah,
don't.
no, I don't like epistolary novels, so that's its first sin. But its second sin is like Bram Stoker just seems really blown away by the idea that like women like sex. Like that's the like there's this creepy vampire story, but there's also this just like super angsting about like oh, women want anatomy? Wait, they like sex? What is this? What is going on here? It's so bizarre. You're just like, what even is? And I'm not like a social justice guy or anything like that. But I'm just kind of like, there's a real like neurotic like approach to sexuality and stuff, and like how like women work. It's really bizarre. It's a really bizarre novel.
I agree with you that it's a bizarre novel. I'm not going to ding him too much on that because I think that's a product of what he was trying to communicate about the time period that he was living in. You know, that time frame was very much I don't want to say just a patriarchal driven society, but women's anatomy were still so taboo to talk about. And then bringing it into that they get sexual pleasure out of it was something you just didn't talk about in polite
Yeah,
society.
like the scenes that are supposed to be scary, like oh no, he's turned the woman. It's more like again just kind of like oh no, she likes sex. She's ruined. You're just like okay, what are you doing? This is stupid. And like I watched a video. I don't know if you ever watched like Atson Shea on YouTube. He does historical content, and he did he still does historical content, but he's kind of moved on to some more like weirder esoteric content, if you will. But yeah, he did a video about Dracula that I thought was really interesting, but didn't really change my mind on the book. I still have my gripes with it, but it was interesting.
Understood. Yeah, horror. I think it's interesting that the first sci-fi, like the first famous sci-fi novel, is now recognized as a famous horror novel. That's Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the way that we've defined horror probably is going to continue to change, and we're going to see a lot of those type of genre mixing continue to happen. I mean, I remember when I was getting into academic literature, they brought up the way that you define certain genres. And my professor at the time period completely disagreed that the movie Alien was a horror movie. He said you can't be sci-fi and horror. I was like, well, that is a problem for you, sir, not for me.
I disagree. It's though. I mean, I guess you could call it sci-fi thriller, but it's more. Yeah, it's definitely a horror film.
Yeah,
But it's also undeniably a science fiction movie.
yeah. The fact that it's in two genres should not impact the definition of it. Right?
Yeah, no, I actually think Frankenstein holds up better. Like personally speaking, I think it's just better told overall. Even though it also has epistolary parts, which I don't like. Though I don't like epistolary. There's only a few novels I've read that get away with it, but I don't know, just not my thing.
Have
But
you read World War Z?
that's one of the ones that I think works. I do like World War Z,
Yeah,
which
it's a phenomenal story.
yeah, it's quite good. Yeah.
It's a travesty what they did with the movie, though, so we won't talk about that.
Yeah, no, the barking zombie part with Brad Pitt. You
Look,
just
the fact that
did
they
you
put
love
Brad
that?
Pitt in,
Didn't you love
yeah,
that?
How about the whole time at
Yeah.
the end? I was like, am I supposed to laugh at this moment? Because this isn't scary. Anyway, but they put Brad Pitt. The second they announced Brad Pitt was in it, I'm like, oh, they're not going to do World War Z. They're going to do something called World War Z. Got it.
I don't know how they would do World War Z as like a movie, because it's like it's not even like a novel. It's more like a collection of stories of people who survived this like catastrophic event.
Yeah, I think it would have been much better had they gone the route of a short series on like HBO or something of that nature.
Something like that. I think he did another one about like Sasquatch or something like that. It was like a
Yeah,
Sasquatch attacks, which like I'm like I don't know. It just seems gimmicky at this point. It was fun when World War Z did it, but I don't know.
yeah. I never picked up his other one. I did pick up his survival guide. That is like a companion novel to World War Z, and I didn't realize it was going to be a legitimate survival guide. So that's out there, and it's kind of interesting because it adds a little bit more to the World War Z background.
Yeah, it's a yeah, it's good. It's a good book. I don't hate that one. There's also Perks of Being a Wallflower. I like that a lot. But that's about it. Most other epistolary I just find really annoying. I think it just cuts through the flow of a book, at least to me. This is gonna be a pain in the ass to edit, but anyway. Um, I like that kind of supernatural cosmic horror. So I mean, I don't know. Edgar Allan Poe is my favorite horror writer of all time. So
Ooh.
that should probably let you know what I think of that.
Okay, so
Um,
you're not going to enjoy any of my novels, guy. I don't write classically.
no, I know. I'm not saying that like. Okay, you were asking me before I had to literally. I should have done it earlier. So yeah, there you go. Jokes on me. But you were asking me what I like.
Yeah.
I like more weird supernatural horror is what I was trying to tell you, but this thing
Okay.
won't tell me. I guess Cthulhu's like, you know what? Fuck you. You know, you're not getting the internet today.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you didn't name me specifically.
I'm not a Lovecraft fan, but I do like that kind of weirder cosmic horror. I guess like I'm quite fond of the um, I'm quite fond of the Southern Reach trilogy. I think that's a really great example of cosmic horror, even though it's technically science fiction.
I'm not like my which one is really important because
No,
I'm not that guy.
what'd you say?
I said I'm not going to be like my college professor that argues with you that it can't be horror because it's all fiction. I'm not that guy.
Well, I mean, even Lovecraft wrote like science fiction stories, like The Color Out of Space. So, I mean, even if the math wasn't that good, it's not me saying that. That's overly sarcastic production saying that. So,
So towards them, not you. Got it. Got it. Check, Raj. That's why
you're turning all robot again. God damn, my fucking computer is not working with me today. All right, start talking again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying that I think that's what I really enjoy about horror is that it's such a broad genre that you can find a little bit of something that satisfies everybody. It's like I'm not into splatterpunk, but there's some people who really, really enjoy splatter.
I think it can be good when it's done well. Like I read a book called Gone to See the River Man, which is kind of like a weird folk horror type of kind of splatterpunk, but very much kind of a weird folk horror type thing. Um, yeah, it's a great book. I think it's well worth a read. I got my friend to read it, and then he was all like, "Oh, he didn't care for it as much as I did." But whatever. It is what it is.
Have you read Dakota's book yet?
No, I want to though, because it sounds right up my alley. Because I'm really fascinated with like Puritans. So
Interesting. So, what is it about Puritans that you're fascinated about?
that's a good question. I just the weirdness of Puritans, the weird beliefs they had, the the their costumes. I love the costumes. Puritans, they're great. Um, just that that era is just really fascinating to me, and my cat just busted in. Let me go shut my door real quick.
The cat in. You can join the conversation.
Yeah, no, she's wanting to. It's because that door over there is real. Oh, sorry, kitty. Didn't mean to bump your head.
Oh, it's a tabby.
Yes. Oh, is it? Well, I guess so. Yeah.
Tabbies are the best.
Yeah.
Especially the orange tabbies.
She's...
Like, full disclosure, I actually really don't like cats, but it has experience with cats that was forced on me. So we have a dog, and I told my daughter she's never allowed to get a cat. So.
Yeah, I have a dog and a cat. They get along.
That's great. I like cats when they don't belong to me. I'll leave it at that.
Fair enough. I'm more of a cat person anyway. Dogs are, I don't know. I like dogs. Don't get me wrong. I just I just find them a bit too demanding. Like when my mom's gone and she wants to walk, she'll just bust into my room and basically stare at me until I take her out.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's generally if it's sunny. If it's like rainy outside, I put my foot down. I'm like, we're not frickin' walking. That happened the other day.
My dog is, for a Doberman, he is such a whiny little dog. If it's too hot outside, he doesn't want to be outside. If it's raining outside, he doesn't want to be outside. But he wants to do something. So he leans against me. I get the Dobie lean all the time.
You have a Doberman? I heard those are kind of mean dogs.
Somebody forgot to tell my dog, because my dog's a giant cuddle bug.
I'm not saying all of them.
No, they're phenomenally smart dogs, and they are protective of their pack or their family, whatever you want to call it. But no, he is a giant love bug, and he is overly affectionate. So
yeah, it's me with my cat. She loves me. She used to love my mom a lot, but then my dog came into the picture, and she's like, screw you. I don't want to hang out with you anymore. So she hangs out with me. She also hangs out with my dad, even though my dad's not a cat person.
Like a skinwalker as a cat, though.
Oh man! But anyway, you're asking me what I like about Puritans. Yeah, I just like their weirdness. They were a very neurotic people, and I find that quite fascinating. I also just find that period of history very fascinating as well. So there you go.
That's fair. Yeah, you're probably really going to enjoy Dakota's book, because he leans very heavy into that.
Yeah, like kind of. It was funny because I really loved the film The Witch by Robert Eggers. And he's like, oh yeah, my book's kind of like that. I'm like, oh, say no more, sir. So yeah, I'll definitely pick it up when I find.
You're gonna be disappointed in me. I didn't like The Witch.
What?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I think it was probably how it was built up for me. Like, I didn't know anything about it going into it, but a friend, he said, hey, you really got to watch The Witch. It's a whole next level.
Did you like The Lighthouse at least?
Oh, I hated it. Hated The Lighthouse.
You motherfucker.
Look, listen, I hated The Lighthouse because I thought it was more of a comedy than a horror movie.
Well, yeah.
But it wasn't intended to be a comedy. I was like, the dude's banging his couch or his bed, whatever. And I couldn't get.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. I'll admit that, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I watched The Northman, which I liked, but
I enjoyed The Northman. I thought that was great storytelling.
That's interesting. My friend Jason made a whole video. Who's the same guy I tried to get to read Gone to See the Riverman. He was just like, eh. I'm like, you motherfucker. But I'm saying that a lot today. I'm just kind of in an edgy mood today, I guess. But yeah, I like The Northman, but I didn't think it was as like singular as I didn't watch Nosferatu either, so maybe that changes. I
watched Nosferatu. I thought it was a decent retelling of the story. It wasn't like I had to go back and rewatch it. For me, it was a one and done watch. I got hate recently on X, formerly Twitter, for saying that I didn't like The Barbarian. I liked Weapons, but I didn't like The Barbarian, and people just could not accept that. So I guess I'm an outcast in the horror community.
haven't watched either of them, so
There you
But then
go.
again, I don't really feel like I belong to one community. I kind of dip around in whatever community uh, does my thing. But I don't know. I like weird supernatural horror. I guess I like folk horror when it's done really well. It's like The Wicker Man, the original
Yeah.
one, not the Nicolas Cage one.
Oh, you didn't like the Nicolas Cage one? Come on, man. It's Nicolas Cage.
I mean, it is, but I mean, when you watch the original movie, you're like, this fucking blows Nicolas Cage's version out of the water. Though him in a bear suit punching the crap out of the lady is great. That's he punches several women in that film, and it is fantastic. It just is so that is such a batshit insane movie.
Have you seen his movie Molly?
I've heard of that. I've heard of that. I don't think I've seen it.
I don't, my wife and I watched it in complete and utter silence, and I remember at the very end, I looked at her and I said, "We were not on enough drugs to watch this movie." So
That's the one where he goes up against a cult leader, isn't it?
yeah, and it is. If you think Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage was that shit crazy, no, that one is to a whole. Like I felt like they all took shrooms and made that movie together.
Yeah, no, I have heard of that. Yeah, I've seen clips of that. It's like there's like a bunch of reds and stuff in it, and
Yeah,
yeah.
you feel like you're
Then
watching it
doesn't
through
like the
a
Charlie
movie.
Manson dude like kidnap his girlfriend. He gets all pissed off and like goes on a revenge rampage.
Yes, essentially. It doesn't work out
Yes.
perfectly. Yeah. But the storyline and the way it's told, and the humor in it, and the way that they like made everything look neon in scenes, I was like, I was supposed to take shrooms before watching this. That's the only way you can appreciate the movie.
Well, maybe don't watch like Nicholas Winding Refn movies. He does that a lot, especially the Neon Demon. That's where it really gets.
Now I feel like I'm gonna have to watch it with my wife, so I can be like, hey, somebody recommended this. It's this guy that I was on a podcast with. So if you hate it, it's not my fault.
Yeah, his computer kept glitching out on him, and all that. You know, he's a real stand-up guy.
Did you like Midsommar?
Yes and no. I think it's a well-crafted movie, but it's one of those like, did you see Hereditary?
Yeah.
Hereditary is like a fucking magical experience, you know, in the worst way possible. You watch that and I'm like, that is a horrific film and it is an amazing masterpiece of a film. I am never going to watch it again because it was so unnerving. But then I watched Midsommar and I'm like, I kind of felt he was just doing the same thing, just with like Wicker Man backdrop to it. And I love me some Florence Pugh. But I don't know, it just didn't do it for me in the same way.
Yeah, I had a hard time getting into Midsommar, and I didn't grasp what everybody else was getting out of it. And at no point was I was like, man, this is horrifying. But I also have a hard time with horror movies where the entire premise relies on either you making the worst decisions or you not talking to somebody. And that movie had both of them the entire time. I was like, this is just driving me fucking nuts, bro. That's my biggest problem with Game of Thrones. The entire Game of Thrones story is ruined if one person tells his wife the truth. And
It's like,
the movie doesn't
well,
work.
okay, don't do Shakespeare then, because there's a lot of people just not talking to each other. You know.
But they separate them through time and space, whereas Game of Thrones, the dude is sleeping with her for 20 years and never tells her, and then the one moment he should just say, I'm going to tell you the truth, and it would change everything, he doesn't do it, and then he gets his head cut off. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's literally the first couple scenes with Ned Stark. All he has to do is tell his wife, hey, he's going to the wall. By the way, he's not my son. Here's who he is. The entire show
But
falls
I
apart.
think the thing with that is he probably didn't want her fucking loose lipping around like in season 7. You know, that would have been a bad deal for everybody.
Well, she was dead at that point, so it wouldn't have mattered, right? All what I'm saying is all those elements of what happens no longer happen if she knows that truth.
Yeah, but anyway, going back to horror, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. It's more I guess I like horror where it kind of feels like you're losing control, which I guess you could say that about a lot of horror, but yeah, I like kind of weird horror, I guess, for lack of a better word.
So do you like The Fly?
I do like The Fly, even though I do think it kind of I think David Cronenberg just gets off on watching stuff contort and transform and yeah, if you've ever watched Videodrome, you know what I'm talking about. He's, I actually really like A History of Violence from Cronenberg. That's a great movie. But I do like The Fly, though. It's a good one. It's just like, good God, that's viscous.
I enjoy that level, that level of combining sci-fi with horror. But while I do feel that a lot of my interests in sci-fi, in some level, have a sci-fi element and horror to them, I don't think that it's strictly limited to that. But I do have a hard time. Like I enjoy the slasher movies, but
I find them stupid.
Yeah, the downside to them is like you know exactly what's going to happen. They're predictable. And I would never get.
Did you ever watch The Strangers?
Yeah.
Nah, that's a fucking great movie, and genuinely scary. At least the first one, not the other fucking ones they made.
Have you ever seen Funny Games?
Yes, I saw the 2007 version. I haven't seen the 90s version of it.
You've seen the 90s version because it's a shot-for-shot remake, so don't worry about it.
Oh, well, okay then. There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of like when they remade Psycho. Like, they didn't change anything. They just did new actors and did a shot-for-shot
You know what's
remake.
funny about Psycho? That's another good example. Like, I remember watching it for the first time when I was in high school, and I just kind of was taken out of the movie because of the dated special effects. Like, when the guy gets pushed down the stairs, he's like, oh! It just looked ridiculous. I was like, okay, this is dumb. Now, the ending sequence, I think, is masterful when he's, like, looking at the camera and, like, smiling, and the grandma's like, oh, she wouldn't hurt a fly. Like, that's genuinely really good and unsettling. So,
Yeah, I mean, the big thing about Psycho, I mean, if we're talking just the movie, is it brought a lot of psychology to an audience that didn't have any experience to it, prior to that. And we could say that, that movie allowed Harris to write the Silence of the Lambs series.
Yeah, that's another one. It's funny. I was actually talking with someone the other day about. I think Red Dragon is one of the great crime novels. I also love crime stuff, so I'm a big fan of because I think noir is kind of a version of horror. I think noir and horror go very well together. Seven is one of my favorite movies. I think it does horror and noir very well. Same thing with something like True Detective Season 1.
If you really like crime stories, of all the authors you talk to, you need to reach out to Michael Hearns. Then he's a former then undercover agent from Miami, and he writes. Yeah, he writes an undercover agent series. He says it's not based on himself, but I'm like, yeah, but there's a lot of you in this, like any author. Yeah, if you need his contact information, I'm good friends with him. I can put you.
I might need to talk to this guy. Trade his notes.
He has some crazy stories.
Yeah, no, but something like True Detective does like the weird horror and noir thing, and it does it really, really well. I thought it was really So yeah, I don't know really what to describe my taste in horror. It's I don't know. It's something that kind of grabs you viscerally, I guess. I don't know.
Grabs you viscerally, but it's not body horror, but it's also has some type of weird element to it.
I don't know. I don't know. It's more like the Cronenbergian kind of oh, this is look at all. Ooh. Even though I like most of the movies I've seen from him. Did you ever see The Brood?
It sounds familiar, but I've seen a lot.
It's the one about the divorce, and Oliver Reed's in it.
Yeah,
he plays the weird therapist guy.
Yeah,
that's a freaky one.
Yeah, there's another movie that I'm trying to recall now where the therapist.
So maybe I do like body horror. I don't know. Yeah, I think.
I mean, you like The Thing, so there's something that it doesn't turn you away. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
body horror doesn't turn you away.
Yeah, but the thing with The Thing, funnily enough, it's not it's the fear of who the thing is. That's what drives the movie, even though the special effects are outstanding.
But you also enjoy The Fly.
I do like The Fly, but it's
body horror.
I don't know. Body horror wasn't my favorite part of that movie. Even though it is, the special effects are really well done. Like,
again, so body horror doesn't turn you away. It just can't be the primary driving factor.
yeah, there you go. Like the human
That's-
centipede. I'm not. Nah.
Yeah.
That's just disgusting.
Yeah, that was just a gross factor for me. The fact that they were able to make a second movie.
And it's like it's such a stupid film. It's like they have this fucking like Nazi guy right out of a right out of a pulp story in the 30s, like doing this like weird. It's such a dumb film, but oh man, it's a disgusting film.
Yeah, the Nazi trope. The only person who pulled
What
that
is up
off
with weird horror and Nazis too? There's
Because
Nazi werewolf stories. There's Nazi vampire. It's really
Yeah.
bizarre.
I think it's because we know all
Nazi
the weird
cosmic horror.
experimentation.
It's so weird.
Nazis in space with dinosaurs for some reason. No, the only person who pulled that off, I think it's a Stephen King story, is the story of The Pupil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then that movie came out, and everybody's like, we have to put Nazis as the backdrop of all our horror for the next 30 years.
It's so weird. It's like I don't know, but yeah, no. And the human centipede's just fucking gross. I hated that film. Or I don't know if I hated it, but I was just like, this. Did you ever see Teeth?
Yes, yeah.
That's another one I can't watch. It's just like yeah, because I just.
Have you seen Hostel?
Yeah, I saw Hostel a long time ago. I thought it was kind of.
Do you prefer Hostel or Saw?
That's a good question.
They're essentially the same thing, just in different contexts.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I liked I'll put it this way. I was weird. I really liked the kind of odd mythology they put around Saw and just how insane and ridiculous the backstory got. I kind of enjoyed that as the movies went on, as they got more absurd. I kind of dug the weird like backstory they put into the movie and just like yeah, I don't know. Okay. But I'll say Saw then for that reason.
Okay. And that's exactly what I didn't like about Saw. Was like, I was like, oh, the first movie was great because there was a twist and we didn't see all that happening. I'm like, just stop. And then like it got to the point where it's like, and then he has a protege that he's been training, and that protege has been helping him for X. I was like, stop. I'm just here to watch really interesting kills with weird contraptions. But anyway.
Yeah, though, I mean, I guess Hostel is more. If we're talking the guy who made Hostel, I really like Cabin Fever from that same guy. That's like a guilty pleasure horror movie for me.
Yeah, I thought you said you don't like body horror. That's exactly what that is.
I don't know. Like I said, it won't turn me away.
Okay. It's okay.
The first movie I liked. The second one is really dumb, I thought.
Oh, have you seen the third one?
No, is that the one with Sean Astin?
I don't know. I can't tell you who stars it. It's about a high school.
Oh yeah, I did see that one. I thought it was dumb.
Yeah, I was like, that one got way out of control. I was like, stop.
Yeah,
but yeah, the first one was great, even though it was kind of gross.
Yeah, no, I like Hostel. I think it's an interesting idea. Kind of creepy considering like real world stuff that's gone down.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of I don't know. Didn't have much of an effect on me, even though I like kind of depraved movies about people embracing violence and whatnot.
I just appreciated that it didn't pull punches on what you thought was going to happen, and that's something I love when either a director or a writer does. Is if you put like somebody into a horror situation, I have to, at some level, think that something negative is going to happen to that person. But there's a trend for people to try and like always keep like the innocence safe, and I think it's primarily an American problem where if you put a kid or a dog in the movie, it's like, oh no, I can't hurt these two, so they're gonna be safe. No, you're not gonna be safe at all.
Yeah, no, Hostel got pretty fucked up, if I remember correct. It's kind of like Cannibal Holocaust. Did you ever see that film?
Yeah.
That's just one of those movies where it just gets so like depraved and violent. I'm just like, I get what they're trying to do. I think this has just been done better in other places. Like, if I want to watch a better version of this, I could just go watch Apocalypse Now, That's true. I do think that for when Hostel came out, it did it well enough. I didn't feel like they needed to make a sequel, though.
And that's also something that I notice a lot of people disagree, at least on my end, is I don't feel like every movie needs a sequel or, God forbid, a prequel. Because I think Alien, like the first three movies were fine. You do not need to tell me the space jockey and the backstory to it.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was, yeah, Prometheus is such a weird fucking movie, because, like, it's like there's a good film in there. It's just like there's so much. If it had just been a standalone movie with no alien related stuff, it'd have been great. It would have been a good movie. But they no.
Yeah, the fact that they tried to tell you the mythology behind Alien kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah, that's why I like the most recent Alien movie. It was like, oh, okay, good, finally they're bringing it back to what like we liked about the original films.
Yeah, I enjoyed Romulus. My only critique of that movie would have been they didn't need to throw all the throwbacks to the older movies in there. You know,
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
you know,
Also,
we get
the
it.
Ian Holm robot
CGI.
AI thing was not good.
Yeah, and I give them a pass on that since he's supposed to be an android, and it makes sense that the company would just mass produce like the same base. So that was the only reason I didn't really care. I was like, it sucks that you used AI to put somebody in there who's passed away, but I understood why they did it.
No, I did too. I just thought it wasn't good. The CG didn't look that good.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that that happened in The Sopranos too, and now it's just everywhere.
Yeah. Why'd you make me think of that? Fucking, where his mom is it's just stock footage of her saying things she said in the show.
Yeah,
I
and
forgot
like
all about that until you brought that up.
I pointed that out to my wife. I'm like, her face looks funny, doesn't it? And she goes, yeah, why is it dark every place else except for on her face? I'm like, because she's already dead in real life.
I love the Sopranos. But no,
Yeah,
it's
great show.
yeah, no, it's I was but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I describe my taste in horror.
It's okay. Look, there's enough authors in the Dark Veil Society. I'm just gonna
I like
inundate
a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff, so I'll probably like your books whenever I get around to reading them, because I like the idea of like, one of my favorite themes, for lack of a better term, is like, well, what happens. I'll put it this way: it's about like the hidden savagery inside of every person. Like in many ways, like if you're pushed far enough, you can lash out. I'm really fascinated with that theme. It's probably why Breaking Bad's my favorite show. But anyway, post-apocalyptic is very easy because you take the rules away. Well, what happens next? Probably why I like books like Blood Meridian and Heart of Darkness, because it kind of deals with the same thing. So
I think you're gonna really enjoy a couple scenes in the first book alone together because on a different side of it, not only it's like what do you do when you're pushed to the limit, it's like what will fear do to you? And I've seen fear firsthand make people do the stupidest things possible and shock driving people to do the weirdest things. I'll share a story like that. It still kind of just perplexes me when I think about it. It was right after Hurricane Michael, and I was on a convoy going in because I was already in the area. We were completely cut off. Hurricane Michael destroyed Mexico Beach. There was nothing there when we rolled across the bridge. And right before we rolled across the bridge, we came up on this house, and there was a guy out there, and he was washing his window with Windex and paper towels. And I was like, oh, I mean, I guess his house is okay because that's all we could see. It's like the wall, his window, he's washing it. And then as we passed, the other side of the house was gone.
oh
But
man,
that guy was in such shock. He probably didn't know what to do like that, and he was just doing what he felt was right, even though you and I, rationally, without having gone through what he just went through within the last 24 hours, see that and see like that's troubling behavior. That guy was going through it, and the entire town was like that.
yeah, no, I remember I work at a radio station. When I first started working up there, it was about a year ago actually today when I started working up there. But anyway, yeah, my friend lives at, or it was an internship. I was basically helping this guy with a show, and we did a country show, whatever. He's from Moore, Oklahoma, which is about 45 minutes where I'm from. Um, 30, 45 minutes. Tornadoes just love to go down there and just rip stuff up when that season comes around, which is actually right now. But anyway, yeah, when the last big tornado hit in like 2013, yeah, his house just got demolished, and he was telling me about it. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, nature is a force all in itself, and I've had enough experience watching people that have gone through that, and then how odd they act the next like 24 to 48 hours. So it's been a lot of fun writing the Alone Together series and putting little snippets of my reality in a fictional world.
Yeah, no, one of my favorite kind of underrated movies is called The Gray, and it has Liam Neeson in it. It's all about that, just like man versus the elements, and it's really a great film.
Have you ever read How to Build a Fire?
Is that the Jack London story?
Yeah, it's a collection of stories. It's not a single.
I've read Jack London's White Fang and Call of the Wild, and I really enjoy both.
You should absolutely check out How to Build a Fire. It's a lot of very unusual survival stories in there. If that's something you enjoy, obviously.
I do like survival, post-apocalyptic. So I enjoy stories of survival. I also was big like into the Titanic and like a bunch of ship sinkings when I was a kid. So like that, I don't know. I've always been attracted to that type of thing. Though it makes it hard when I go on like a plane. I'll just be like, oh god, what if we crash? Yeah,
Yeah, trying really hard not to pull up your laptop and look up videos of airplanes crashing.
Yeah, or think of 9/11 or something. You're just like, oh god, yeah.
Oh Lord, oh Lord.
I was 6 months old when that happened, but I've seen like clips of like, that sounds horrible, by the way. That did not come out the way I wanted that to, but yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. You should, if you're into learning about that, there's the. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. My computer was screwing up earlier. You deserve to have something interrupt our chat.
Oh, perfect. Okay. There's that documentary that was filmed by the firefighters on 9/11, and it they didn't know 9/11 was going to happen. Obviously, they're doing a documentary just to like showcase a local fire department in New York City, and they're out there responding to a car accident, and somebody goes, "Why is that plane so low?" And he pans up just in time to see the first plane hit. Yeah, and then they get in the fire truck and they rush out there, and he's with the firefighters the whole time. It is if you watch the uncut.
I've seen the clip of the plane flying in, and everyone's like, "Oh, what's that?" And they look up, and yeah.
Yeah, and his brother was filming the other fire truck at a different accident, and the engine from that hit went down the block and landed in front of them.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it is an insane documentary.
Like the plane engine?
Yeah, like the motor comes down, and it's burned up along the street, and they're walking by it. Yeah, you gotta watch the documentary, man. Those guys, they captured some phenomenal information that day.
Oh my god!
So, I'm all about people knowing the reality of history. I think that documentary is probably one of the most important ones that captured that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about stories about the cost of violence. I guess that's, I don't know what you'd call that genre, but probably why I like horror and crime and like dark fantasy.
Do you also read a lot of either fictional or nonfiction military stories?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
What is your favorite singular let's say nonfiction? So a true story.
That's a good question. I was really into the Civil War when I was a kid, so I read a lot of Civil War biographies, especially ones about like Ulysses S. Grant, who I think was an underrated president, but also just an interesting guy. Like he was a very misunderstood man, I think, in a lot of ways.
I think a lot of those Civil War era generals are misunderstood because we just see them for the Civil War, but they were all extremely educated and they all knew each other very well.
Oh yeah, like him and Grant and Longstreet were like close friends.
And like they knew, like when Lee was on the march, they knew that he was not a military commander to screw with because they knew his reputation. So, but we just attach, especially as Americans.
Let me think. Let me go on my Goodreads because Well, last really great military thing I read was it's technically fiction, but it's the things they carried. I thought that was a absolutely brilliant book.
The lemon tree scene. That's what I remember from that.
Yeah, it's crazy. But let me look here. I mean, does the Charge of the Light Brigade count? I mean, it's not really a
Yeah.
nonfiction account, but I do like that poem a lot.
Yeah.
Where's the nonfiction? Hold on a minute. Also, like All Quiet on the Western Front. That's a good one. I need to go through this here. I did start American Sniper, but I stopped because I don't know why. But I was enjoying it. It was a good read, even though I know Christopher Kyle's kind of controversial for whatever reason.
Anybody who's fought in a recent global conflict is going to be controversial. So,
Homage to Catalonia that's a great one. The George Orwell book. I don't know if you've ever read it, but it's.
I have not. I've read American Sniper. What I appreciated out of that one the most was when he talks about his recovery back in the States from a physical injury. That's exactly how the military tries to refit you when you come back from an injury. My favorite, though, and if you haven't read it, is With the Old Breed. And
yes, I talked about that with some friends of mine. I've seen the Pacific.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, but the Pacific, they should have just focused on one story. And if they would have focused on E.B. Sledge's story, which is what The Old Breed is about, it would have done much better than it did. It probably would have outshined Band of Brothers, honestly. That story, if you read
I don't know. I think Band of Brothers is a masterpiece. But
it's a masterpiece, and the only reason the Pacific failed was they tried to tell 3 different stories along with the Homefront story, and it went over budget. Sorry, I know too much about how that show fell. So, but yeah, if you read that, it paints the real story of like what those guys went through in the Pacific much better than any other piece of art or literature or movie that I've seen so far.
Yeah, no, I remember getting into a debate with a friend of mine about just how ugly the Japanese front of World War II was, because I always say like the Pacific front and the Eastern front of World War II were like the ugliest bits of the war. And I'm not saying all war is ugly, but like those two were like there's like I've read accounts from both of them. Some of it is spine chilling. Like genuinely some of it is like you'll be, questioning humanity when you read some of the stuff that happened in those two fronts. Out of all of them, those two fronts specifically in World War II.
Yeah, if you consider just like a single island, a battle, in the Pacific, there are islands that guys fought on longer than the entire European front. So that alone tells you how brutal and vicious that fighting was.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, and this is probably going to be controversial, but, not a lot of people watch this anyway. But, like, when you hear about some of the stuff the Japanese army did, you kind of don't feel as bad that they dropped a nuke on them. I hate to say that, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I had to tell my wife about the rape of Nanking. And
oh, God.
She knew nothing about that, which was terrible in itself. And then I told her about Unit 731. She didn't know anything about that. So, yeah,
I read the book, The Rape of Nanking. I haven't. That's one I have to, prepare for. Because, look, I love my dark, depraved shit. But that one, I've heard accounts. Like, even the Nazis, the people who put Jews in ovens and gassed them alive, even they thought what the Japanese did to Nanking was horrific. So that should let you know what's going on. Not that it's like a competition or anything, but I'm just saying.
Like, no, don't tell the Japanese because they made it a competition. So.
Yeah.
I had to read that as a college discourse.
It is horrific. It is horrific. I've even seen photos taken from it, and it'll sear into your memory.
Yeah. The Chinese released a movie called The Men Behind the Sun, which is a story about Unit 731, and yeah, it's very hard to get in the United States. I'll let you know right now if you try and look it up, because they didn't use special effects. They used actual cadavers to do the movie, and it is
Cadavers?
disgusting. Yes, dead bodies.
Oh,
So,
jeez.
like when they do the autopsy scenes, they're actually taking apart a human.
Oh my god.
Things like that.
Oh my god.
So, if you want a glimpse into the terror that humanity can give you, it's out there.
Yeah, oh man. Yeah, but yes, going back to your original question, yes, I do like war stuff generally. If you asked what my favorite war thing was, but I can't really name one off the top of my head at the moment. Maybe damn it. What's maybe an homage to Catalonia, but that's because I could really relate to that book in a lot of ways. Not that I fought in a civil war, but that gradual creeping disillusionment that you feel when you realize the people that you like kind of put your money behind in terms of like political beliefs, like when you realize like they're not what you thought they were, or they're even quite terrible, some of them. I definitely identified a lot with that. So there you go. I don't know if you've ever read that book or know what I'm talking about, but
I can grasp the concept, but I have not read that particular novel.
okay. Like Orwell got shot in the neck over it, so like he was a true believer.
We need them sometimes. Sometimes they also lead us down the wrong path.
Yeah, but that book really spoke to me. I also just really like the things they carried. I read that last year, but that's not really a nonfiction book, though.
It's close enough, and I'll say that because I've read it as well. When I read it, my father was still alive, who was also a Vietnam vet, and he read it and he said, "Listen, I know this is fiction, but all he did was take stories and rumors that I heard when I was overseas and string them into a fictional story." He goes, like the story about the person wearing human tongues. He goes, I knew a guy who wore a human hair around his neck the entire time I was overseas. So, yeah. Sometimes fiction has a way of imitating reality, and vice versa.
Yeah, I remember there's a sequence in the Pacific where like a dude like was taking like teeth out of a Japanese soldier.
Yeah.
Like apparently that actually happened. Like
yeah, it was common through most history because teeth fillings used to be made with silver and gold, so they were valuable.
Yeah, no, still really fucked up to read and watch.
If you deep dive into enough archives, you can find American tanks where they decorated the sides of them with Japanese skulls.
Oh man. Oh.
Yeah, war's ugly business.
Yeah, no, but you're right, and that's the thing I was kind of debating my friend about, because I mean he's German, his name's Raph, and we were kind of talking about
Badass name, by the way.
Raph, yeah, his name's Raphael. Yeah. He goes by Raph for short. He's like, well, war's kind of fucked up in general. I'm like, I got that, I know that, but it's like for one, the Russian and like the Eastern Front, that was just a blood feud. Like Russia's like, oh, you're gonna fuck around, we'll smack you right back, and it was ugly all the way over to Berlin. And then like Japanese, again, they're just some of the stuff they did. I'm just saying, it's pure evil.
Yeah. 100%.
And what kind of frustrates me even now is because I read like the story around the like Rape of Nanking book, and like Japanese like historians and people like that didn't take her seriously, and I'm just kind of like, and it kind of again just kind of makes you go like, they should have wiped out every single one of those fucking people who did that, because
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Like what?
I do think that not pursuing them the same way that we did the Germans is a travesty to humanity.
Yeah, no. Some people should have been executed. Like, they should have executed the Japanese emperor, at least.
Well, we've been on almost an hour now. I know we had some technical difficulties, but I don't want to keep you in too much longer, because I'll just keep asking you questions.
No. I still got some time. I'm good to go.
So, Let me ask. So you said that you've had a hard time reaching out to the DBS people. I've told you, the secret is obviously you have to send them some nudes and then they start responding. But nudes aside, is there any novels from the Dark Veil Society that you've been just itching to get into?
I'll have to look. I want to try some of Eamon Bradley's stuff because some of his books, some of the stuff he likes is some of the stuff I really like. Like he's a fan of like China Mieville, and I'm a fan of China Mieville, which I think he's great. But I would like to try some of his stuff. I'm forgetting what some of his books are called at the moment, but
He has the Veil. I think that's probably one of his longest ones out there. If you like Stranger Things, I think that's probably something you'd be interested in. I don't want to say any more beyond that, though.
I like Stranger Things, but kind of fell in the same trap that the boys did. It kind of just went on for too long.
I agree. I told everybody that I think it's season 3. It should have ended there because it closed everybody's storyline and it left you feeling like it wasn't completely resolved. Like the good guys didn't completely win, but they got the victory. But then they went on longer, and I was like, no, they should have cut that. Like when the guy goes to Siberia and is in prison, that was just way too long. That was a nightmare of a season for me. And I told my wife, I don't know if I'm going to finish this show because of this. So.
Yeah, I heard season 5 was kind of a clusterfuck as well, so I don't know. It was.
Oh, you haven't finished it yet?
No, I haven't even watched season 5 because I'm so exhausted with some of this stuff. Like, I was already exhausted with the boys. I have a complicated relationship with both the show and the comic that it's based on, so I won't jump in the rabbit hole because I've been complaining about it on Twitter for the past couple days. But I'm glad it's over. I'll just put it that way. I'm glad the show's over. We can go move on to something else.
I gave up on the last season of The Boys, so I'm not even going to bother watching this newest one.
That's fair.
But, I think The Boys started out strong. I think season 1 and maybe season 2 was really great. They did a good job lampooning a lot of things. And
I thought seasons 1 through 3 were excellent, like really great seasons of television. 4 was kind of where the cracks started showing, and then I didn't watch 5, but I heard 5 was just a mess.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall season 3, which is why I'm playing it safe and saying season 1 and 2. I do know that you can definitely tell where certain people lie in their own beliefs about things, and it's so obvious in the way that they tell stories that it ruins the storytelling because it feels less like fiction at that point and more like you're trying to remind me every day about U.S. politics or something like that. I don't want to constantly be inundated with U.S. politics. That's the least interesting thing I can think of. Maybe fashion. Fashion's pretty boring.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of the whole, like, oh, did you know Trump was bad? Constitution says you do. I don't know. I'm just quoting Breaking Bad again. But,
Better Call Saul, baby.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love those dumb fake commercials. Those are just awesome. But anyway, I don't know. Williams' book seemed cool, but that's just because I thought the name was unique.
Which the most recent one?
Yeah, no, it's just like, is that like an antiquated way of spelling William?
I think so. It is pronounced William. I never asked him about the source of it. It might be from where he's like his family upbringing, but I'll ask him. One, why his name is wrong, and 2, if you received Britton's new picture yet, so that he can respond to and get on this podcast.
Yeah, no, I thought William Whitedale was interesting because he has something that's called a pseudo memoir, and I'm like, oh, there's rarely any like real experimental writing on the indie side, so that sounds interesting. I like when people play with form.
If you're, not to drag any attention away from William, but Blake is also writing his second novel, and it is also a pseudo personal story from him. There is I think an element in there that makes it more fictional, but yeah, we have a couple of people that have done interesting things in their stories, so I highly recommend that you jump into the website and take a look. And we have a merchandise store if you didn't see that, so we sell clothes, tumblers and blankets. Oh, and bikinis. We have bikinis.
No, I haven't. I didn't know. Well, I have seen you guys share like T-shirts. I'm more of a T-shirt guy. Very simple.
Oh, we got a bunch of those. Don't worry.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
that in my background is actually my sweater from my book series.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was. I'm like, you have merch back there of your book? That's pretty.
I do. I'm actually wearing my merch shirt right now too.
Oh, really?
Get up and show you.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this guy right here. Oh man. Look at that. Look at that animal right there. It's like that scene in Predator where Jesse Ventura's like, you could be a sexual tyrannosaurus just like me.
Just like me.
That's a great scene.
Yeah, I tell that to my wife all the time. I quote random movies to her. That's my love language.
I love Predator. That's great.
I like the first two Predators.
I haven't seen the second one in a long time, though. I have a lot of friends who dig it, and I was like, really? Like, I just kind of thought it was like Lethal Weapon, but then a Predator shows up.
that sounds badass. What are you talking about?
It's literally Murtaugh going up against a Predator, it's...
Yeah, I'm completely down for that. Predators, the one where they're on the planet, was okay, but there was too much. I don't know. It was okay. That's all I'm gonna say. I stopped after that. So
I'd like to read Molly's other books too, because I read Dark Bloom. I need to read the second one.
Oh yeah, you're missing out if you haven't read the second one.
Yeah, no, my friend Steve Stark was telling me the other day. He's like, it might be even better than the first one. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll take you up on that.
I personally think so. It's mostly because I'm not a romance reader, so it's less that and more horror.
I like the first one, even though there's like one scene where I was like, I literally told Molly, I'm like, you kind of just spelled out her backstory in like a super like, well, she always was this, and then yada yada, in like a very like clear way where you can tell what she's doing. It took me out of the story a little bit, and she's like, you know what, you're right, and I'm like, it's your first novel though, so I'll cut you some slack. Like I'm some objective arbiter of quality.
Yeah. Well, I think that the indie community, I'm going to limit to just the indie community, not just authors, that there's a habit because we've written novels, that we have to critique everybody else's novels, and I try very hard not to fall into that trap. There are obviously some novels that I prefer better than others, especially indie ones, and unless I see something that's glaringly wrong and I want to help that author, like, hey, if you can go into the manuscript and fix X, Y, Z, I don't bother letting them know, and I don't know if you've fallen in or seen this on any of the social medias. There's this concept out there that like you have to give positive support or negative support for
negative
authors.
Support. I've never heard of this.
Well, it's like if it's crap, 1 star, they deserve it, and it's like, or the opposite side, they all deserve 5 stars. If you're an author, I don't fall into that. I'm a reader. I'm going to review it as such. Now the downside is it's connected to my author account, and I've just taken to it's like if it's not at least a 3-star, I'm not going to rate your book anymore. So it is what it is.
I was looking at your Goodreads, and I saw there were a couple that just weren't even ranked. So I was like, oh man, so those must have sucked.
I wouldn't take my Goodreads as hard to it because
okay.
one, I've had a Goodreads for a long time, and I didn't read it to a certain degree. Like I didn't use it. I also don't keep it up to date. Like I'm reading Hood right now, and it's not like I think I'm at like 2%, and I'm much further along the novel than 2%. Right now.
What's Hood?
Hood is a modern retelling of Robin Hood set in the United States.
Oh, who wrote that?
Oh my gosh! Of course you have to ask me.
I'm sorry.
I'm a terrible friend. The guy's gonna watch this interview and be like, "You don't remember me, dude?" And I'm gonna be like, "Dude, I swear to God, I remember you." This
is great.
Yeah. Oh Lord! Now I have to log into my Goodreads that I haven't done in like over a month. It is written by T. Rogers.
T. Rogers. All right, shout out to T. Rogers.
Yeah, I
Probably.
remember you. I know you. I'm reading your book. Don't hold my Goodreads
You
against
know,
me.
have you seen trailers for the Robin Hood movie for June? You seen that?
Uh, I,
Does it look
I saw
interesting
the
to you?
first one. I saw the first one. I don't recall anything standing out to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Don't ask me about the new Odyssey movie though, because otherwise we're gonna go on a 12-hour rant about a lot of things you don't want to
Oh
talk about.
boy, you know what's funny about that? You know what's funny about that? I'm actually reading the Odyssey right now. I'm rereading it, I should say, because fucking love the Odyssey, and it still holds up. By the way, I got the Fagles edition because no disrespect to Emily Wilson, she's the first woman who's ever translated the Odyssey, and that's wonderful. I'm really glad for her. I read some of her translation, and I thought it was very plain. So I was like, yeah, no. Tell me of a complicated man? Like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm not sitting inside. I'm not in Dr. Melfi's office. Okay, I'm reading I'm reading a fucking mythology book. What are you doing?
Oh, we're gonna make soprano references for the rest of the day now.
Apparently, it's an iambic pentameter, so I guess maybe it's worth a read. But I'm reading the Fagles edition, and it's really nice. You can really feel the flow of the language. I don't know if you have any opinions on translations.
I mean, listen. For the longest time, I used to say the reason why Dostoevsky named his novel "Crime and Punishment" was because it was a crime to read or to write that book, and it was a punishment to have to read it. But I think it's really because the translation, like, it's probably much more flowery in language in Russian than it was translated into English. So at the time period, I was just a young kid who was like, "Jesus Christ, this is a thick book, and it's not over yet." Looking back, I'm like, okay, there's elements there that I understand, but I think
I'm
the
actually hoping to
translation
read
didn't go
Crime
well.
and Punishment next year, so that's funny you mentioned that.
Oh God, good luck, good luck. I did the original poem version and the translated version of. Great, now that we talked about it, now I can't
The
remember.
Odyssey,
No, not the Odyssey.
the Iliad,
It has Grendel, the monster.
Beowulf.
Beowulf, thank you. I did that one, and the poem version, I was like, I'm too stupid to understand this. This is why I don't speak any other language other than English and French. So there's
I
that.
mean, there is the Haney version. That's pretty accessible.
Well, like I said, so there was the poem version and the translated version, and the poem version I couldn't understand. I was like, I mean, I got some stuff, like I know what a bone cage is. Okay, it's a skeleton. I know what he's talking about, but yeah, I had to have the translated page to like simple English because I'm a dumb American.
I like Beowulf. I'm actually considering rereading Beowulf as well because I'm going to be reading Grendel by John Gardner. So,
Yes. Yeah.
we'll
Grendel's
see how
hilarious.
we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm rereading the Odyssey for the movie because I was like, a movie's coming out. I like the Odyssey, and it still holds up really nicely, I think.
I'm wondering if I should force my wife to watch the old Odyssey, but I can't promise you I'm going to watch the new Odyssey.
I can't help but think of the '90s Odysseus when I read Odysseus. That's just who I view him as. He just, even though there's parts of it that are pretty ridiculous, like when his mom goes into the ocean and starts screaming like a lunatic.
Yeah, well, and then the way that they escape from the Cyclops at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like, really, that's how you did it?
I'm going to find you. Oh, and he's all like,
Yeah.
he's blinded.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, these are all my sheep. Okay.
And the dude's
Alright.
playing the flute. You're like, what? This is
Yeah,
dumb.
Yeah, or it's like there's a lot of weird, odd. But you know what? Okay, let me ask you this joke that I've seen online: is the Odyssey named the Odyssey because he goes on a big journey, or is it named the Odyssey because the guy's name is Odyssey, which turns out to mean journey?
I'm not a classicist. Wrong person to ask. But it is
I
a
just
story about a journey, which is why I like it, because I love quest narratives. So,
It's a story about a journey about a guy named Journey.
pretty much. I mean, he literally tells the Cyclops his name is nobody. So, like, when he goes, oh, nobody attacked me, his other Cyclops are like, oh, he's just being an idiot. Let's go away. Let's go eat some sheep. So, I don't know.
Fair enough.
It's also like, the Odyssey is like much more violent and melancholic than I remember. Like there are sequences in this where like There are people just like talking about their regrets in life, and it's like really good, actually. Like he goes in the underworld and he runs into Achilles. He's like, "Oh hey Achilles, how you doing?" And he's like, "This fucking sucks, dude. Like, I'd rather just been a farmer." No,
Well, I mean,
like, damn it,
it,
I gotta get home.
The way the entire story starts off, we should have known that it was going to be like that because, like, a prophet gets beat to death by a fucking giant sea monster. So let's just start with that one right there.
Yeah, and he sees his mom, and he's like, "Mom, what?" She's like, "I was waiting for you. You I died on you. I'm sorry." And he's like, "Damn it, why?"
Yeah, I think I gotta make my wife watch the original one now, just so she can be like, "What the fuck did you make me?" I love that reaction out of my wife. I like making her watch like really terrible B movies that I watched because I was an obsessive weird kid, like in the early 2000s, and she's like, "Why did you make me watch?" Like I made her watch Carnosaur 1 and 2, and she was like, "I can't believe you made me sit through this, like both these movies." And I was like, "Is it gonna surprise you to find out that there's a third one?"
Man, no, but yeah, no, I really like the Odyssey, and it's still holding up really nicely. I mean, there's a couple of, like melodramatic parts, but that's kind of expected. It's really old.
Hey, that's why I think they call them classics, right? Not to be pretentious about it, but even American classics, like people harp and say that the only reason it's popular is because of like forced reading from high school, but Of Mice and Men tells a very complex story in a very short amount of time, and I appreciate it. I understand what, like, all the dynamics that are being played into that story. So I understand why.
I do love Of Mice and Men. Read East of Eden?
Yes, yeah. I read East of Eden, Tale of Two Cities, Of Mice and these are all books that were forced on me. So not to say that I'm well read, but I was forced to take a lot of interesting courses.
Oh, but those are some of the good ones, man. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, no, I agree. Now, I'll tell you that despite my name being Fitzgerald, I absolutely cannot stand The Great Gatsby.
Yeah, I saw you gave it a 3 on Goodreads, and I was pretty offended because that's my favorite book of all time.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, my synopsis of that is rich people with rich people problems.
Yes. But
yeah.
It's about a bunch of other things. I'll start ranting about The Great Gatsby for like 3 hours if we get started on there. So it's probably you with the Odyssey.
Well, only the new movie. I enjoyed the Odyssey, the story. It's just everything I'm seeing about the new movie coming out. And I was like, I don't know. I'll wait until a couple of friends go and see it and tell me if it's good, and I'll leave it. Like
Come on! What's wrong with Elliot Page's possibly Achilles? Like, come on.
The fact that Elliot Page, in general, in it is problematic for me. So we're just gonna end with that. It's the same thing with Resident Evil, though. Like the new movie coming out, everybody's like, "Yeah, but he made some great horror movies." I'm like, "Okay, I hated one of them, and I liked the other one. I'll wait until my friends see it before."
Who's making a new Resident Evil movie?
Same guy who made Weapons and the Barbarian.
Oh, that should be bad.
I don't think it's going to be bad or good just because he's in it. That's the thing, or he's directing it. Like the trailer doesn't show me much about it. There's a history of Resident Evil movies not being good, so I was like, I'll just wait until.
Come on, you don't like the first 3? Like you don't like Mad Max Resident Evil movie?
I liked the first movie that Anderson did. I didn't really care for 2 was okay, and then everything after that was just too much for me. I enjoyed Raccoon City more than most people did, but I also think that they butchered the story and all the characters. So there's that. The TV show was a nightmare. I don't even know why they bothered making that show.
Yeah, no. Anyway, I do like the Odyssey quite a bit. It's great.
By the way, everybody, that was Britton just being like, I disagree with him so heavily about this Resident Evil stuff.
No, I don't have much of an opinion one way or the other. I'm not really. I don't play the games.
Gotcha. Well, did you see the TV show?
No.
Okay, you don't need to. You don't need to know the characters or anything.
I didn't even. I forgot they even made a TV show.
Oh yeah, it's a nightmare of a TV show. Yeah, I'm just gonna end it there. I completely understand why they canceled it. They should have killed it in the pilot stage, but it is what
alas.
Lessons learned. until they funnel money into another show to butcher.
Yeah, no, I was all pissed off at oh, what was it? Uh, I kind of got annoyed at the Last of Us adaptation. I'm like, why'd you have to add it? Why'd you have to adapt that? Like, it was fine what it was.
Have you seen, The Last of Us? I never got into any of the games, so I didn't bother with the show. But have you seen any of the movies based off the Silent Hill games?
No.
Do you know about the Silent Hill games? And, like,
I know of them. I know they're like kind of. I'm not really a fan of like the horror where you go in the house and stuff scared. Like I'm not a fan of like Amnesia Moon and stuff like that. So I've never played any of the Silent Hill games.
Oh yeah, you're missing out because like it's those amnesias like while they say they're inspired by Silent Hill, they are Silent Hill. It's kind of, people compare it to Resident Evil, but it's more psychological than it is jump scares on it. So I don't know. Those movies also have a very twisted. Like I think the very first attempt to make it into a movie, they did okay, and then they kind of just got sidetracked with crappy CGI, and then they rebooted it, and everybody got really excited about it, and then they came out and they're like, "Oh my god!" And they should have just made an animated movie with how shitty the CGI was.
Well, I mean, my friend's worst movie of all time is Blood Rain, which I think is based on a video game. So.
Oh yeah, it is. I forgot. It's the sexy redheaded vampire chick who kills Nazis.
Again, what is up with the Nazis being villains, bro? Like,
look, it's easy to kill Nazis. You don't feel bad when they die on screen, okay?
That's fair. But nonetheless, it's like they're all over the damn place. Like, do you ever watch Grindhouse?
Yeah.
There's that fake trailer with the Nazi werewolf women in, like, hell or whatever, and you're like, what is up with all these supernatural Nazis? Stop that. Not that I'm offended of Nazis getting killed, by the way. It's just like, we gotta stop putting Nazis into here. It's giving a bad precedent. We're setting a bad precedent.
Have you seen the movie Overlord?
Oh, God. I didn't see it because of that reason. I'm like, God, no more. I played Call of Duty Zombies when I was a kid. I don't need to see it as a movie, all right? Like,
no, it's not even zombie. That's the funniest thing. Like, I thought it was going to be like a zombie World War II movie. I went into it, I'm like, okay, this is The Boys with zombies.
What?
Yeah, it's like, it makes them superhumans, less, like, it will bring you back from the dead, but they become like Homelander. Like, you get injected with the stuff, and it turns you into Homelander.
Oh,
and
boy.
That's the best way I can, like, because they still talk and think and everything. Yeah, it's a weird movie, too. It's also completely historically inaccurate with everything about it. So, from the beginning, it starts off.
Well, come on, it's a pulpy horror movie. You don't expect accuracy now. Unless Robert Eggers made it.
Listen,
it would be.
I'm that military guy that, like, if you're going to put the military in it, you better have somebody from the military advising you in the background, because it's going to drive me nuts if everything's wrong about your military units.
Do you ever see Fury?
Yeah. It's a pretty good movie, but it's also, unfortunately, in that realm of, ooh, you're falling into tropes and myths. But it's overall, I think it captures what the director wanted people to take away from it.
Well, I thought it was pretty good, but there was that scene where like Brad Pitt makes Logan Lerman commit war crimes. I'm like, okay, this is just too far. Like, I bet stuff like this probably happens, but like, it just kind of seems like, oh, look how edgy and boundary pushing we are, and I'm just like,
yeah, I agree with you on that scene. What drove me nuts is that they perpetuated the idea that the Shermans couldn't take out a Tiger tank, which I think historically they only engaged actual Tiger 1 tanks like 2 or 3 times on U.S., maybe even one on U.S. forces. But the guy was driving a Sherman Super Easy 8, which had an 88 on it, so it could have easily knocked out that Tiger without having to go all the way around it. That drove me nuts. Now there's going to be a bunch of people in the comments that are like, this guy knows nothing about tanks. I played Company of Heroes once.
I don't know anything about tanks, so you feel free to rant away.
I mean, look, Fury actually did decent with a lot of things. A lot of hardcore World War II movies do decent enough on things, but especially modern movies, like The Hurt Locker drove me absolutely nuts. I couldn't stand that movie. I was like,
I didn't
that's
get Hurt Locker. I saw it a long time ago, and I'm just like, what the fuck is he doing? He's just like trying to
doing his
plant
own thing.
bombs.
Yeah, he's doing his own thing. He's becoming a one-man army and sneaking off base and sneaking back on base and not wearing his equipment and wearing his equipment incorrectly. And
Everyone's like, oh, there's a scene at a supermarket, so it's deep, and I'm just like, what? Yeah, I don't know.
somebody told me that was our generation's war movie, and I was like, oh no, it's not.
You ever seen Generation Kill? I've heard that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's a decent telling. I just wish they focused less on the.
So if you actually like fought in wars, like if you like shot guns and stuff, or well, I'm sure you shoot guns.
Have you done the stuff? Yes.
Have you done the military stuff? Like you gone?
Yeah, I've done the military stuff.
You've done ops and stuff.
Oh my god, I've done so many ops. Ops. I was tracking.
Well, I don't want to. Well, I never want to ask like, have you killed people? Because it's just inappropriate. You don't. They always tell you don't ask veterans if they killed people because it's just like they don't want to talk about that. But like,
yeah, that's a one. That's just a poor question to ask anybody. But
that's true. Yeah.
I mean,
I wasn't gonna ask you that anyway. I'm just saying. But
it's like, have you ever removed a man's eyeballs with the technique they show you in basic training? And I was like, no, I don't know anybody who's done that. Well, no, I take that back. I know somebody who did it by accident during training, but in combatives, there's a technique they teach you, like when you're in, you can push your thumbs in, pop somebody's eyes out, and they were supposed to go like train to like 50%. He actually did it to his buddy's eye, so they can pop it back in though.
They've done like ops and stuff.
Ops, yeah, operations.
Yeah. Not ops, not like enemies, but like, you know.
Not the cops, because that's another term for.
Really? I know it as a term for like people you don't like.
Yeah, I've heard it for people. They're like, "Oh man, the ops are here." I'm like, you mean the cops? Just put the C back on there. You're not saving time by cutting the C off the word cops. Not to harp back on my novels, yeah, if you read Alone Together, you can figure out what's a true, like if somebody's served, they can read Alone Together and be like, oh, this is definitely a true story that he's telling in the background here.
So have you taken down like drug cartels and stuff like that? Or you just kind of...
No, I never took down drug cartels.
Or
I ran into a guy who told me that he was a Green Beret, he fought in South America and used claymores all the time, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you've never been in the military, I got it. Or you were, I was like, or you were a cook. One or the other. My favorite is like when you watch those guys that do the Stolen Valor like videos, they always choose like the most insane top secret things. They're like, I was Delta Force, I was Green Berets, I was Navy SEALs. There's never a dude that was like, yeah, I was a mechanic. Like the easiest thing, like if you would have just said that, nobody would question your military service. They're like, yeah, I was Delta Force. I'm like, okay. Well, the fact that you called it Delta Force makes me think that you weren't in it in the first place.
What do they call it in the actual military?
So they go by like Special Operation Detachment, and that's what they refer to that unit as.
Did you ever run any like shady operations or anything like that? Or was it mostly like just idiots? Because I know you were saying earlier you were complaining about the military.
Yeah. So look, because there's going to be somebody who's watching this, and potentially if somebody's like, I'm thinking about joining the military, you need to really think about the lifestyle that you want to get into. I think the military is a great organization, and there's a lot of things that people can do and do the right thing. It's not for everybody. Now, that being said, have I ever ran into a weird operation? I think, I can't prove this, but because we don't really know what was going on, but we were in Africa, and we were just doing Sec 4 duty, which is just...
Doing what duty?
Sec 4, so it's security defense operations, which is a fancy way of saying I was.
But you said sex force. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Sex 4. You didn't hear about that? Oh my! I have to go on a tangent real quick. Have you seen those fake Manosphere podcasts?
Oh yeah, I've seen a couple of them.
The guy with the black beret. And he's like, I'm in Dark Force. you know how you can tell I'm in Dark Force? Black beret. But if you want to go up to somebody and find out if they're really Dark Force, when they're not looking, pinch them really hard. If they say ow, they're not Dark Force. But if they're dark force, they're gonna say like, "Oh yeah, I really like that. Do it harder."
I've not heard that, but
if you're on Instagram, follow me, and I'll blow up your Instagram feed with it. I'm gonna go on a tangent again about it. He does one where he has an actual MMA fighter come on, and he goes, "Yeah, so I'm cutting right now." He goes, "Oh, so you're not eating?" He goes, "Yeah, I can only have water for most of my meals until I drop like 20 pounds." He goes, "Well, I can teach you a method that they taught me in Dark Force on how to drop weight, and it's called shitting your brains out."
I'm sorry.
But he doesn't. I can't even say it without laughing. But he keeps his face completely. He goes, "What you do is you eat all your favorite foods, but you don't cook them all the way. So you shit your mouth." What?
Oh, that's great. Oh,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's.
Oh.
Back to your question. We were doing security force operations in Africa, and it's a really boring job. It's basically you're basically a glorified security guard. So we were like, let's go outside the perimeter and do patrols outside, which we weren't supposed to be doing in the first place. But I'm a terrible soldier.
Get bored.
We got bored. We went out there. We took a truck, and we went off because where we tried to get as close as we could to the Somalian border and look over the border just into Somalia. And we went out there. We were running completely dark, and we saw another truck peel off the road and come speeding towards us. I was like, "Oh, nobody else is supposed to be out here right now." So we got in our truck, and I was like, "I don't want to take the chance of this being something I'm not supposed to run into." I'm thinking, like, instead of getting shot at, I'm more worried about, I don't want this to be another U.S. force, and they're going to fucking tell my boss I was doing patrols outside the perimeter. That's what I was worried about. So we peel back, and this truck is hauling ass up this road, chasing us through this winding trail. So I call back to our VDOC, which is the little command station of the area that we were protecting. I was like, "We have somebody on our 6, and they're coming in fast. I need you to put the cameras on." There's this thing called a raid camera. And it's this like big pole that comes up, and it has all these fancy optics. They're zooming in. They're like, "And we can see the dust trail of this thing coming in on you." And we're coming through this canyon, and we pull off, and we're waiting. We're waiting for them to come off around this canyon so that the camera can actually zoom in on them, see them with all the inference, and they stop. They knew exactly where that camera couldn't see. And we got back, and like, there's no way that was locals. That were just like coincidental. They knew that we were there, and they chased us. And to this day, I still don't know what it was that we accidentally walked up on. Like, there's no way that they were locals. It had to be somebody who knew where that camera could or couldn't see, and that drove me nuts.
Well, I don't know if you ever watched Mr. Nightmare's videos, but he's done like a bunch of like videos of like real like horror stories that have happened to people.
Yeah,
and there was one about war. And there was one where like one guy, and he was hanging out with this dude in a suit who I guess was like a CIA guy, and they were doing like these ops, and like it was really freaking creepy what he was describing. And he ended up like by accident finding like they were trying to like use heads or whatnot, and they were like messing with them. And then like he woke up and he was all beaten up, and he tells the story better than I could, but it was creepy. It was a creepy story.
No, the creepiest thing that we ended up doing was, you remember when those girls went missing in Africa, and like at the time period it was the Obama administration, they had the Bring Back Our Girls campaign.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So those human trafficking operations feed all through the continent of Africa, and there were several people in, I think it was at that time period, Ethiopia, that went missing, and they were like, "Hey, we know that like 400 people were kidnapped, and we need you to watch like an avenue." And because I was in a infantry brigade combat team which specialized in reconnaissance, we set up operation posts all throughout the desert to watch for these people. And we employed all the assets we could to watch these avenues to see if we could watch them moving across the desert. But the sad thing about that is, like, just like here in the United States or any developed world, like, you have 24 hours, and if you don't find those people, they're already gone. They've moved through areas and networks that we don't have visibility into, and that was disheartening to realize. You know, we put all these efforts and resources.
Did they ever find those girls? I forgot.
The ones that became national news, I can't remember, but the ones that we were trying to help find, we never found.
That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, that's the real horror behind everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, are you still in the military?
No, I got out in 2020.
No, I was gonna say, are you still in the military? Or are you like retired now?
I just got out. I didn't retire.
Oh.
Yeah, got out in 2020. I just didn't want to keep playing the game. I was also an officer, so there's a little bit more politics that goes into it than. I don't mean politics like American politics. I mean like social politics. I just don't want to play with.
Yeah, no, going back to that Mr. Nightmare story, that one spooked me out. I'm like, what the fuck was that? I don't even know if I want to know what that was. CIA, man.
There's it might be the same guy. There's a dude that does like weird stories from service members specifically, and there's one about a couple Marines doing their night watch duty. So the military has a thing called fire watch, which is somebody has to stay up in case something goes wrong. They call it fire watch, but you're not really watching for fires anymore. You're usually watching for people coming out of their bunks, going into offices they're not supposed to. So you have somebody sitting at the duty desk, and you always have a buddy with you to make sure somebody doesn't fall asleep. And they're doing their patrols through the area, and they see somebody leaning in the hallway, and they can see the outline of him. He's wearing a Marine uniform. They can see the 8-point cap, and they call out to him. He doesn't address them like 3 or 4 times. And then they turn the light on, and there's nobody there. And they're like, there's no way. So they turn the light back off, and they see him again, but he's in a different doorway, and he's leaning against the door. And they keep trying to get this guy. It's a creepy-ass story, man. And they continuously see this guy all throughout the building, and doesn't answer to any of the challenges. And every time they hit the light or shine one of their beams over there, the figure disappears. Like,
oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, I don't want to do fire watch over there anymore. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no, I remember hearing another one where a guy's phone got stolen. That was pretty wild.
You should ask any service members that you end up having how pissed off they are about getting their phone stolen by the same guy every year in cyber awareness training. It's a stupid course we had to do, and it's like a click course. And there's always a part where somebody steals your phone. It's the same guy in every video. I'm like, God damn it! The guy always gets me every year. It is pretty late on my end, though.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm probably going to take off here, but yeah, this has been. I was probably going to take off about 10 minutes, but it's because I have to put all this together because technology being the wonderful thing that it is. But this has been fun.
Yeah, man.
Hearing you share stories about manosphere bloggers and military stuff and horror and good time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, hey, reach out to me. I'll make sure that my DBS friends respond to your messages from now on. Yeah, again, nudes always help. Aside from that, make sure you send me your email, and I will provide you one of my books so that you can dive right into it.
All right. Well, before I let you go, as always, I like to ask for any social media that you have if you want to share it with the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am on most of the social medias. I'm on Instagram. I'm on X, which is formerly known as Twitter. You can also find my website at ssfitzgerald.net. Again, that's ssfitzgerald.net. You'll find all my books there. If you click my logo at the top, it'll take you to my link tree, and my link tree has all my social media. I'm also a Dark Veil Society member, and if you don't know what that means, I belong to some phenomenal horror writers out there. We run a nonprofit called Walpurgis Words for Literacy, which helps children learn how to read and write, and we support contests for high schoolers. So absolutely go out there, check us out, support these authors, and if you want a tax write-off, you can donate to our donations, and we sell on our merch store merchandise tied to our novels, and we use that money to also support those children. So by all means, go out there, again, ssfitzgerald.net, hit the logo at the top, and until next time, guys, you all stay frosty.
All right, take care, everyone. This has been fun, and until next time.